These are not the only former gang members in the congregation. There's many hundreds of ex-gang members, but these were the ones that volunteered to discuss with us in our viewing audience what being in the gang is like. You see it on the news all the time. Some of you in here are parents of children that are in gangs, sons and daughters. So you know the hurt, you know the pain that many parents have experienced and still experiencing. Many of us in here lost children to gang violence. So those that have lost children to gang violence, these brothers and sisters are here to prove to you God can change it. Is that right? Now, Brother Johnny was a former gang ties with the Fresno Bulldogs. Brother Ellis Johnson used to be a Gangster Disciple. Raquan Lovett used to be with the Blood gang. Inglewood family gangsters, Gangster Bloods. Inglewood, that's California, isn't it? Wow. Sister Tisha, the gang she used to be a part of was called the Graveyard Gangster Crips. Brother Anthony, he used to be with the Crips in Compton. Now, you know the way our program is, it's bare knuckle. We don't put gloves on. And the brothers that's in the pulpit, you got screens on both sides so you can see. And if you can't see that well, some cameramen, they on the wheels, you may have to roll it around just a little bit more of an angle so the brothers can see what's going on. All right, Brother Johnny, which one's Brother Johnny? Johnson. Brother Johnson? This is Brother Johnson. Who's Brother Johnny? Brother Johnny and Raquan Lovett and Sister Latisha, of course, and Brother Bell. Brother Johnny, Fresno Bulldogs. When y'all talk, y'all talking to the microphone so the public can hear you.
Yes, Pastor.
Start off, how did you get into the gang? What was the initiation process? What was your experience?
When I got into the gang, I was about 15 years old. When my mom...
Please turn my brother up. I want everybody to hear each one loud and clear. His microphone is purple. Like Barney. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, I was about 15 years old, and my mom was in jail, and she was in jail for about 6 months, and I was kind of forced out on the streets, and I was like trying to stay with friends, one friend in particular, and I was already on drugs and drinking. I was like a drunk and, had an addiction, and I was trying to support myself, and so I would steal from ladies and the parking lots and, whatever I could, and that's what I was doing for a while, and and some of my friends, they were selling drugs, and so that's what we did out there, and that's what it was going on until my mom got out. And then when my mom got out, she was staying in a motel room for a little while, and I wasn't staying with her because I was out running around. And when she finally got on her feet, we were staying with one of her friends. We moved to a certain area, and that's when I got connected with the gang.
What city was this?
In Fresno,
California.
California.
What was the initiation process, or was it one?
It was a jump in. So they jumped me in, and
Explain to the congregation and to the viewers what exactly is a jump in.
when they jump you in, the members of the gang, they beat you up, or you fight. You got to fight while they're jumping you in. You're fighting them while they're jumping you as a group, and you're fighting them. And that's how I got put on.
Okay. We'll come right back to you, Brother Johnny.
Yes, sir.
Brother Ellis, Gangster Disciples. How did you get in? How old were you?
I think I was about 16 or 17. My mother used to work at the post office, and some strange way she got poisoned. Somebody poisoned her lunch, and she began to get sick and couldn't work. Her and my father were separated, and there were 7 of us, and so 4 boys and 3 girls, and I got tired of hand-me-downs and living in a house with no heat and, hardly eating at night. And I was watching a lot of my friends grow up, and so-called friends, and they were selling drugs and dressing nice and driving good. And, they was always saying, we got your back, you need to roll with us. Or with some of the guys on the block that was real smooth with me. They was always telling me to come on and they'll help me to do things. So I started hanging with them, and next thing you know, I'm selling weed and hanging out, and I got caught up in that limelight, and they jumped me in the same way he talking about.
That was your initiation process too?
Yeah, you have to gladiate. You have to show that you can throw hands, and once you did that, then you was accepted.
So he used the term, Brother Johnny used the term, they jumped him. Is it a street phrase that gangs have to coin that initiation phrase, whether it's walking the line, gladiator, what they call it?
Walk. For us in Chicago, is walking the line.
Walking the line in
Yeah,
Chicago.
you had to walk that line.
Okay.
And if you talk that talk, you had to walk that walk. Sure enough, and it wasn't easy, but I was able to make it through. And then after that, it was sometimes they would want you to go and do a drive-by or something like that, but most of the time it was walk that line, So I was able to make it through that, and then the violence and it got insane,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. Laquan Lovett. He was with the Gangster Bloods. What city? Inglewood?
So I was in a branch off. So basically, like how it go, you will have some dudes out of your neighborhood that'll fly out to California because when it comes to the East Coast Bloods, they can't go in California saying that they're a blood because it originally ain't started over here. So anybody that truly wanted to be a blood, you wanted to be the terminology real right. You wanted to be official.
Okay.
So
was there some form of qualm or grievance between West Coast and East Coast Bloods?
So West Coast Bloods bang neighborhoods
Okay.
versus East Coast Bloods started from a West Coast Blood being locked up over here on the East Coast in New York City
Okay.
and Rikers Island.
Okay.
So by that West Coast Blood being locked up in Rikers Island, the original founder of the 9 Trey Billies that originated in New York City, them two came together, and on the West Coast, you bang and you represent the B, the letter B, and versus on the East Coast, they bang and they represent the 5-point star. So that's what the Vice Lords fall up under also. So it's basically like they seen how the Bloods from the West Coast operate. It wasn't originally a gang. It was a brotherhood. You protecting your neighborhood from any outside. Basically, everybody had a foundation in a way that they operated and they ran their neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's almost like a position, you know, you got to show yourself to be approved to hold a position. And you got those that's big up in ranks, and then you got those that's at the bottom that's crash dummies. 9 times out of 10, a lot of the youth, that's what they is. You got a lot of grown men that wait till they get 40 and 50 years old and they be crash dummies.
What do you call it again?
A crash dummy.
Crash dummy.
A duck. A gopher.
Explain the. Break it down, so them that are watching and them that are here. Because listen, our idea of a crash dummy is when you see a commercial on TV having a driving test. So this is the first time I've ever heard of an individual that's being looked at as a crash dummy. So kind of simplify it for me a little bit.
So a crash dummy.
It's not a bad description for a false prophet, but you can go ahead. Come on.
So a crash dummy is basically you willing to go out your way to be accepted. Mm-hmm. You wanna get in and fit in so bad. It's almost like, for instance, how you and Will relationship is.
Yeah.
You got some that might want to have that same type of relationship with you, but you keep it small.
Yeah.
So you got those that may see how we maneuver and how I may laugh and kick it with you, but I don't play with them. So they want to be able to have that same relationship with me.
Okay.
So they will be willing to do anything to show themselves to be approved.
Wow.
Well, if I tell you, go do this, go do that, you doing it to show me that you ain't scared, but really you scared. But then you got those that's not scared that they just want to be a part of what's going on, and then after that, they become an outlaw.
Okay. What was your method of initiation?
So it first started out with me. I grew up in Savannah, Georgia, and the east side wore red and the west side wore blue. I never understood. I thought it was just when I was little, I thought it was just always a east side way red, west side. I didn't know at the time that it was Bloods on the east side, Crips on the west side, but then at a certain part of the east side, you had Crips and GDs. Mm-hmm. So some of my family members, they used to wear red. And that right there is was the beginning for me, because I was from out of this neighborhood. I got uncles, my mama brothers, my father's background. I come from a family of gangsters. So I ain't want to live off of their name. I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to be a boss.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it's like I wanted respect for my name. And unfortunately, you know, everybody, it's like you gonna fall before you rise. You gonna go out bad before you get to that point where you rise up and you respect it. So I wouldn't say that I was a crash dummy, but in order for you to get that respect that you demand, you gonna have to crash out. And it's not nobody sending you on a mission. It's you pulling missions to make them boys look at you like he crazy. He'll do anything. So
the more crazier you, correct me if I'm wrong, the more crazier you appear in the eyes of your surroundings, the more feared you were, the more respect you would obtain.
Yes, sir. So when it comes to the streets, you got those that shooters. You know, everybody say that a scary person will pick up a gun, but you got those that will fight you and they'll shoot you. They'll beat you up and they'll shoot you. But then you got those that's true, that's scary, and they'll shoot you because they don't want to be looking around and watching their back all day. But then you got those with that old school mindset that got the hands that will beat an older young joker, and they just go ahead and just take them old out because ain't nobody trying to get beat up.
Hold that thought. Sister Latisha, Graveyard Gangster Crips. So the Crips come in, is it different titles attached to the gang, or is it based upon location?
Yes, it is different titles.
Okay.
And also location.
All right.
So Trey 57, Graveyard Family, then it went to Graveyard Gangster Crips. And
Excuse me just a minute. You please turn her up some. You good? All right, come on, sister.
yes, so Graveyard Gangster Crips originated in Pomona, California. But I'm from Ferris, Texas, so it came on down to Texas.
Okay.
So, like you said, it is basically majority of it comes from California, and then other states take it on. So the name came from a graveyard from Pomona.
All right.
So they added their own mix to it, Graveyard Gangster Crips, to be separated but also the same.
Okay.
Yes.
Your initiation process.
So I was the first female in the Graveyard Gangster Crips. So
You were the very first one.
the very first one. So I was technically blessed in. So they didn't like physically do anything to me. So we basically took an oath. So me and another individual was bodied like hand in hand, and it was basically like ashes to ashes, dust to dust, basically speaking a curse over ourselves. So we had to take oaths. So I didn't get physically jumped in or sexually, because that's also a thing that happens in a lot of gangs.
The time you was in the gang, by being the first female, how large would you say you witnessed the female gang grow?
Far as females coming into the gang?
Into the gang that you particularly were in, the Graveyard?
Well, for me, I was the only female for a very long time. It wasn't until I got a little older they kind of initiated some other females.
Okay.
Now, those other females that came in, they didn't even want me to physically beat them up. They allowed one of the individuals that the girl was dealing with to basically beat her. I mean, he was a very large gentleman and she was a small, and for her to get in, her man beat her.
I want y'all to pay attention to this very well. Because what this does give a whole different perspective of behind the scenes of what some sons and daughters had to go through and are going through before they become a gang member. And you young people that are watching who got in mind to join the gang, this is something that you will face while you trying to ponder the thought, should I or shouldn't I? Brother Anthony Bell was with the Compton Crips. Now, everybody heard of Compton. And so let's hear my brother Anthony. Brother Anthony, what was your initiation? What attracted you to the gang? What was the experience that drew you to it?
Well, what attracted me to the gang is I had my uncles and the people that I was living around growing up as a youth. I saw, because everything, if you wasn't gang banging back when I was coming up, which was the late 80s and the mid 90s, early 90s, that's when I was really like into the gang. In the early 80s, mid 80s and the late 80s, I started watching the other older Crips, and I wanted to just be just like them. I watched how they wore their little golf hats and their hair forked out in the back and certain kind of jackets, what we used to call Batman jackets, and painter pants and certain type of shoes, Romeos.
Let me interject just a minute. Painter pants.
Yeah.
They have that title based upon a certain look?
Yeah. They have like little pockets on the side.
That painter's painting?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so that was like a regular form of gear that the gang members wore?
Yeah.
Okay.
So by me seeing that, I used to ask my mama, would you go buy me a golf hat? But I think she kind of knew that, nah, I'm not gonna get you that. So I settled on the Batman jacket, which is a jacket. It's not really, it kind of has some little design in the back that kind of look like a bat, you know. But yeah, I got one of those, and I just thought I was everything when I had that on. I was real young, about 7, 8.
Wow.
And yeah, I started off real early because I just was infatuated with it, and I just loved the way they looked, the way they act. There was even one guy, he used to spit, and I used to watch the way he spit, and I used to try to spit like him. Like, man, you know.
Were you coming up with uncles, and so you were raised up in a gang atmosphere? Did you have to go through being initiated a particular way, or did your uncle or family members have some type of influence to bring you in, minus the violence?
Well, yeah, my uncles, they have influence, and yeah, they was real prominent gang bangers. Did many a years. One of them is still alive. My Uncle Cubes. And me, I got quoted on. Like you asked, is there certain terminologies? Where I'm from, we call it quoted on.
Okay.
Who quoted you on? You know, who put you on? So, yeah, I got jumped in like he used. We say all of them, but yeah, I got quoted on by like 11 little dudes my age. And they all just rushed me, and I was fighting them back. Yeah, and yeah.
Johnny, let me get back to you. How old were you again when you said you came into the gang?
About 15.
Fresno Bulldogs. Who were their rivals?
The Sureños, Norteños, Latin Kings.
So these were all Hispanic gangs?
Yeah, yeah. We also have rivals with Filipino gang, TRG, and some Crips.
So when y'all were gang bang, what more or less were you be fighting for territory?
Well, in Fresno, it's the dominant gang, the whole county. It's in Central California, in between Northern California and Southern California.
Okay.
Fresno is the dominant gang of the city and the surrounding counties. There was other gangs, but that was the largest gang where I'm from.
When you was in a gang, was there anyone your particular idol, one that influenced you? One that you really looked up to, that you said, look, I want to be like him.
There was my friend, he's no longer here. He went by Little Jumper. And, I was out where I was living with my mom, and I was hanging out at the parks and, drinking and getting high and, selling weed and selling meth, things like that, and just hanging out. And, they were, like, I was getting attention from them. Mm-hmm. And we were hanging out, and they kind of took me under their wings. But like, I wasn't trying to be a part of the gang at first. I wasn't trying to go down that way. Mm-hmm. Just wanted to make money, and because I was being a fool and just out there on the streets.
Do you feel as though that you were sucked in?
In a way, in a way, yeah. I had a close friend that I had took with me to the park that we hung out at, and long story short, I found out that he got put on the gang, and he was one of my best friends. And so I kind of felt like I didn't want to leave him hanging. Mm-hmm. But I was also being influenced also by the things that they were telling me. How, just being influenced, just that they want me, and, I was out there selling drugs, and how that could benefit me and places I could go, and I was going into a different world. Mm-hmm. And I had no support, I had no family. That's all I had, was just hanging out. That's all I did.
Let me go back to a statement you made, you didn't have no family. Would you say not having a family is sometimes one of the main reasons why young people are so attracted to a gang? Because gang looks like this family appearance, this togetherness, this camaraderie. So what they don't have at home, they can get outside the home. Would you say that's the way it is a lot of times?
I think that could be a possibility. I'm not saying I had no family. It's just my mom. Mm-hmm. It's just really been me and my mom.
Right, I understand.
And I had some siblings, but we're all from 3 different men, and I'm the only one from my dad who wasn't around. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like I went where she went, and she had a really bad drinking problem. Mm-hmm. So it was just, her life was messed up. So I just kind of wherever she went, I went, and I kind of just okay. I wandered off into the world, and I was and the streets influenced me.
Okay? Brother Johnson. You initiated by how old?
16, 17.